This year, I built a six-figure business without needing to design a product, without needing to get any investors, and without hopping on an AI trend. All I did was follow the 3 steps I'm about to share with you, which got me from $0 to $20,000 per month in 6 weeks. Now, before you get any idea in your mind, when I say 0 to 20K, I don't mean literally beginning business. I mean after 3 years of multiple failed businesses that got me to a point where I was making 0 revenue, even starting to get into debt for a couple of months until everything clicked all at once. Boom, 20K in 6 weeks. This is not a get rich quick video. This video is for those of you who have gone through the fucking years of nothing happening, who are tired and who are looking for the one shift that will make everything happen all at once. If you're a business owner, stay with me. I got you. I'll share the 3-step process I went through to actually achieve that. This is not bullshit. Step number 1, I'm gonna be very straight up with you right now. Now, in order for me to make sure you understand point number 1, I wanna paint a picture of how I actually launched my first businesses and the mistake that most of you guys are doing this right now. Here's how most people do it and what I did. I said, okay, let me first figure out, this is the order of things I was doing it, huh? Let me first figure out my offer. Let me first figure out what is it that I want to sell. Number 2, let me figure out what price I could attach to what I want to sell. And number 3, only then let me figure out who to sell it to. So market. This is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen, and I cannot believe I wasted 3 years of my life. Thank God though, I now get to share that lesson with you guys. Think about it. This could work, except the only way you make money is if a human being gives you the money. And the only way a human being gives you the money is if you give them what they actually want, unless you want to steal. If you want to make money in an honest way, the only way you do it is by solving an actual, useful, relevant problem for a human being. So how about doing it the complete opposite way? How about flipping it around and realizing, oh my Lord, I wasted 3 years of my life, and as soon as it's flipped around, boom, all of a sudden this is what happened. Now there are a little bit of details here, a little bit of caveats, but the first fucking point, the first point here you guys need to do is to choose the proper avatar. Choose the proper niche. 3 years ago, I didn't even know what a niche was. I didn't even know what a lead was. I didn't even know what a funnel was. Choose the right niche. Now, how the fuck do you choose the right niche? Now, stay with me and we're gonna figure out why that matters so much. My first real business was in corn addiction recovery. Cornography, you know what I'm talking about. Who was I targeting? Anyone who struggled with corn. I ended up creating content. 50% of my audience were African teenagers. I have nothing against African teenagers if I'm building a charity. But if you want to make money, you cannot target African teenagers. This is me speaking to my past self. So what I ended up doing is I said, okay, this is obviously not going to work. So I said, let me try to target high-level people struggling with that. High-level people struggling with that same addiction. I got very clear on my niche, right? I got very clear on my niche. I said, okay, it has to be someone who's making money. That's the first part. It has to be someone who's making money, who can even afford it. Otherwise, you have a charity. Number 2, it has to be someone who actually struggles emotionally with that problem. Pain, and the only way you experience pain is with emotion. Someone you can easily target, an easy target. So what did I do? Entrepreneurs. I'm gonna target entrepreneurs struggling with corn addiction, except I forgot one detail. Point number 3, you guys are gonna understand exactly what I mean by that. A very crucial detail. So what happened is I did make some money. I got to make a little bit more than the average salary, working my ass off, barely surviving and paying all the bills that come with actually having a business. So I targeted entrepreneurs. Now this is fine. At least I had the first step, which gave me a viable business, something I can do full time. And by the way, this is what I tell all of my people, all of my clients. I don't have a single client who does not target entrepreneurs. I'm gonna make the decision very simple for you right now. If you're struggling in business, which is why you're still watching this video, and you don't know what niche or avatar to choose, start with entrepreneurs. Just target entrepreneurs. First of all, they're more relatable because you're an entrepreneur yourself. Second of all, they have money, or they value money, or they value investing in themselves. Third of all, you can create a network effect. They can have clients of their own. You can create B2B deals as well, business to business. There's a lot that can happen. You can learn from them as well. I learned so much from my clients. You can learn about business because they have skills you don't. Choose entrepreneurs. It's going to make your life much easier. But then, never forget about point number 3. We'll go to that in a few minutes. Now, what happened? Once I chose entrepreneurs, because I was still a total ignorant beginner, let me be polite at least with myself, I told myself, okay, I'm going to target entrepreneurs, but I'm going to charge the same low mid-ticket price I've always charged. My thing was like, oh, I want to be paid more than the therapist. So if I'm paid more than $100 per hour for my time, wow, I'm already so happy. So I was limiting myself to the mid-ticket range. Big lesson, guys. If you're still in the mid-ticket range, please get out of this hell. You either charge premium to a very few amount of people, or you charge low ticket to a massive amount of people. That's it. Businesses in between die. It's just as easy to close a 10K deal, believe me, just as easy to close a 10K deal as it is to close a $500 deal if you're speaking to the right person. So never ever make the mistake of settling for a mid-ticket price. And that's the mistake I did for years. So it was only when I said, you know what, let me flip it over. Instead of saying, what can I charge for what I want to give? Let me instead first figure out a premium price I want to target. Without even knowing what I'm going to give these people, let me first give myself the goal of closing a 5K deal. That was my goal. $5,000 high ticket deal. That was mine. $5,000. It was what I was focused on. I quickly realized very few amount of people are ready to pay $5,000 to quit corn. That's okay. It only took me about a year to have the courage to switch businesses because I said, I'm never gonna fucking settle for selling mid-ticket again, ever. I don't give a fuck. I know who I'm serving. I'm serving entrepreneurs. I know I wanna charge $5,000, so what the heck do I do now? That's when we go to point number 3. Only once you know who you're targeting, because it's the only way you make money, actually solving a problem for someone. You know what you want to charge. You know you want to charge premium. You know you want to make your life a blessing instead of a curse. You know you want to live in heaven instead of living in hell. Now you go to point number 3, which is what the heck then do I give them? What the heck do I do as an offer? And let me walk you through how I determine a good offer. Here's the first step. Since I'm already determined what's the price I want to charge, I want an offer that actually can be justified with logic. I want an offer that still moves people emotionally. So entrepreneurs, they're still human beings, so they still have emotions. I want to move them emotionally. The only way you actually sell something is if you move the person emotionally first. But then I want to be able to justify it with logic. So the first part of the offer is a financial ROI. It has to have a financial ROI. A lot of you guys are struggling in business right now simply because you're making your life difficult. You're not tying your offer to a financial ROI. Cool. When that is determined, the second thing is I want to have a skill. I want to teach something. I want to offer something. You want to create what I call the cocktail party effect. You want to have an offer that people, when they first meet someone at a cocktail party, that when people ask him, so like, what have you been up to? What's happening in your life right now? You want them to be proud of your offer. You want them to flex your offer. You want your offer to be associated to a higher status. Let me explain. When I had the business of corn addiction recovery, do you think someone would ever share that with strangers at a cocktail party? Hey, yeah, what am I doing right now in my life? Man, I'm struggling with corn, like I'm jerking off 5 times per day. I recently got a coach though, and he's helping me. Like instead of jerking off 5 times per day, now I'm back to maybe once per week. Now I'm still working on that last little step of breaking free forever. Do you think someone would ever say that at a cocktail party? Absolutely not. So I was in word of mouth hell. My business could never compound because people would never refer anyone. So then I had to start asking myself. For a while, I said, okay, let me be a dating coach. At least that's a little bit less worse than corn. But even think about it. You're at a cocktail party and someone goes, so what do you do? Yeah, I have a dating coach. You need a dating coach? Really? So then I was like, okay, charisma, social skills, really? Like, you really need charisma? You're down bad like this? You need to be coached on charisma? And guess what finally ended up creating the business that got me to $20,000 per month, which most of you guys know me by right now. What if someone at a cocktail party was to say, yeah, so what are you up to? Yeah, I have a public speaking coach. A public speaking coach. How does that sound? Oh, really? What stage are you speaking on? Oh, what event did you get invited to? Ooh, what are you going to speak about? Public speaker. Automatically, status symbol. Being on stage, being the speaker on stage is an automatic status symbol. Guess what happened? Born to Speak was born. And within 6 weeks, 500 members in the community. People were already referring all their friends. People were inviting them. They were sharing it. They were fully supporting me. All of a sudden, business was easy. All of a sudden, business was easy. So the second thing I want you guys to know, I promised you it's worth to stay until the end. These little shifts in your business could completely change the game for you. I promised you. Now, the cocktail party effect. The cocktail party effect. When you're building an offer, think about what would people want to flex? What will people be proud of sharing? Because that's going to create the word of mouth effect that you want for the long run. And last but not least, you must not ignore that. It must be something you are so fucking certain in. Something you are so certain no one else can deliver in the way you deliver. You want to be uniquely certain. Those 3 aspects, financial ROI with a cocktail party effect, and you want to be uniquely certain that the way you teach it, no one else on this planet can do it, and the type of results you can get for your specific person, no one else can do. And what that will create is something like Born to Speak. Something that allowed me to go from 0 to $20,000, 60% closing rate, without any fucking script. After 3 years of struggling, these 3 things, boom. First ever call I get on, 5K, bam, closed. The way you build your offer, financial ROI, something people would flex on, and something you can give a unique perspective on. Last but not least, until you have testimonials, until you have such a big amount of testimonials, people will be like, okay, it will be delusional that I don't fucking get the result. You back it up with a guarantee. That's the last little thing. That's the bonus. You back it up with a crazy guarantee. That's the only thing. As soon as you figure out these 3 things, right now, as soon as you switch these things about your business, boom, I promise you, within a couple of weeks, as long as you have the certainty, as long as you're fucking so certain in that what you're creating is unique, you're the best in the world at fucking doing it, which by the way, another bonus I would put is storytelling, having a story around it. Born to Speak exists because I struggled all of my childhood with bullying, being diagnosed with social anxiety. It was horrible. I had to change schools. I was broken, depressed. It's what got me addicted to corn, which was initially why I started with that, because I wanted to solve that problem for myself. And what ended up happening is through these years, next thing you know, I ended up becoming a paid speaker. I ended up becoming an actor. I ended up getting into sales. So everything that is the opposite of what the therapists were telling me, everything that is the opposite of what you could possibly get, I got into improv. And what happened is, even as I was coaching people on corn or any other thing, the feedback I was getting most often is, wow, man, like, teach me about charisma. Teach me about dating. Teach me about speaking. Wow, you're such a great speaker. Consistently, it was that feedback. And it was only when I understood, wow, okay, maybe that's my unique story. Maybe that's the unique perspective I can offer. And that's when all the different elements were combined. If you right now can figure out, first of all, target entrepreneurs, I'll make it very simple for you. If you have a premium price as a priority, and then here's the biggest part of the work, and then you actually figure out what do these people need, what do they actually need that is related to a financial ROI, that is something they would be able to flex, that you can offer a unique perspective on because of what? Because of your unique story and unique life experience. And then you can back it up with a guarantee until you have enough testimonials to remove the guarantee, basically proof. My brother, whatever you're making right now, you can 5x within a couple of months. Now, if you want more clarity, questions, feedback on your specific situation, because I know this is still generic advice, then you can join Born to Speak. It's free. DM me, tell me, yo, I'll watch your video on the offer creation stuff, on the how you went from 0 to 20K in 6 months, in 6 weeks. And I'll be able to guide you through it. I'll be able to ask you certain questions, give you feedback on the offer. Maybe we can hop on a call eventually. If it makes sense, we'll be able to figure it out. Because I promise, this is the highest leverage thing you can do in your business. Awesome. I love you guys. This was a unique video where it's not really about speaking. It was more about the business side of things, but it was very important for me to share it with you guys.